This is Becca from the Saunders Pack, and I'm going to share with you my 2024 goals. So I decided to do this video in part to share my goals and see if it inspires anyone else, but honestly, the bigger part of me just needs accountability. So I am using all of my viewers here to keep me accountable to my 2024 goals. The method that I like to use to plan out my goals for the year is actually Dave Ramsey's method for SMART goals. And I'll link the article in the description of this video that goes to his website, but he suggests having 7 different areas of life to set goals in. Those areas are spiritual, fitness, education, family, career, social, financial. And the second part of this is that at the end of every single month, I'm going to share an update on how I've done for that month. So by the end of this, I will have 13 videos in this 2024 goals playlist, and I will be able to track my progress throughout the year. Having accountability is so important because when you know that there's someone watching how you are doing, you're more likely to try. And obviously, the whole point of having goals is because I want to improve myself in these different areas. And so there are some things that aren't going to be easy. I've tried to be really realistic with my goals. Something I am guilty of doing in the past is setting unattainable goals and then being frustrated with myself when I don't meet them. The perfectionist in me always wants to try harder and do more, but I've tried to be very realistic this time about my season of life. I am raising a toddler and an infant. I am working full time. I am trying to be an active member of my community. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to do YouTube and I have a side job with Scentsy. So considering all of the things that I have going on in my life, what are realistic goals? So here's what I've come up with. First, spiritual. I want to be an active member of my new church. So if you've been following this channel, you know that I am a former children's minister. And now I've moved to Iowa. Obviously, I have a new church family. I was a children's minister for 5 years. And before that, I was a children's ministry intern. And before that, I was helping with my dad, who was a youth minister. Well, now I'm at a new church. My dad is a preacher. And I'm trying to figure out, what does it mean to be a member of the church who is not employed by the church? It's a weird transition and a little bit harder than I thought it would be. Number 2, my fitness goal. So anyone watching this that is at all athletic is going to say this goal is super lame. And I kind of agree. But remember, I'm going for attainable, right? My goal is to walk for 30 minutes every day. Why does that sound like an attainable goal to me? Because one, we're in Iowa and it's cold now, and I'm learning about the snow and how to deal with snow. And both of my children hate going outside when it's cold. So I love being in the snow. I have found a lot of enjoyment out of like shoveling and just feeling the cold air on my face. My kids, not so much. So sometimes walking will have to be inside. Or it will be, okay, let me get both kids ready, even though they maybe don't want to go, and find a good place for us to go all together. It's a little difficult. And also, being a newly single mom, it's tricky, okay? Because whenever they're sleeping, I've got stuff to do. I also work from home. Nap time and bedtime are great times to get work done, and it's harder to motivate myself to go out and walk. So, that is an attainable goal for me. I'm sure most of you can beat it, but 30 minutes a day, that's my goal. 3, educational. So, obviously, I have a new job now. I am the director of programming with the Set Me Free Project, which is a counter-trafficking nonprofit. So the whole goal for us is to stop human trafficking before it starts by providing prevention education for people of all ages. Well, I'm new to this arena, so my educational goal is to spend 1 hour per week learning about human trafficking outside of my job responsibilities. So finding online workshops, reading books, listening to podcasts, whatever. My goal is an hour a week. I think that I'm probably going to end up doing more than that because I'm the kind of person who likes to listen to something while I'm working or whatever. But the challenge is that human trafficking is not a subject that I want my 2-year-old to be listening about. So I'm going to have to either have on headphones or wait till she's not around me. And obviously reading a book as a mama of 2 littles, when is there time for that? So that's a little bit challenging too. So I think that 1 hour a week is a very attainable goal that I will probably exceed. Family. My goal is to create a peaceful home environment. So I've noticed in the midst of all this transition, I've gotten a little snippy with my kids. And that's just not the kind of mom I want to be. I want to be a mother who is patient and loving and kind. I want my home to be a place of peace. I don't want my kids to ever be scared to talk to me or feel like I'm just going to yell at them. I don't want any yelling, frankly. And I think that there are ways to parent without yelling. My goal for 2024 is to make my home peaceful. Next is career goals. Like I've said, I've started a new job with the Set Me Free project as the director of programming. And with that, I have a whole team that I'm responsible for. I have 5 direct reports, 7 indirect reports that are employees, and then I think we're up to 5 volunteers that are my indirect reports as well. So I have a whole team of people that I've been entrusted with, and I want to make sure that I am creating a positive culture within my team, where employees are not afraid to speak to me, to let me know what's going on, where I'm invested in them as not just employees, but people too. And just creating that culture where you want to come to work every day. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I also do Scentsy work on the side. So my career goal is kind of a 2-part. The second part of my career goal is for Scentsy. My Aunt Rachel has been selling Scentsy for over a decade. It's been a long time. But she and I are transitioning the business over to me. My measurable goal with Scentsy is $200 in sales every month. Some months are probably going to surpass that, and some months might be lower, but that's going to be my goal. Next is my social goal. This, much like the fitness goal, might have some people thinking, really? But remember, it's what is attainable for me. So my goal is to have one outing with a friend that is not my family, because I do have a sister that's just a little bit younger than me that has an apartment in town, and we hang out a lot. So she doesn't count. I want to have one kind of social outing with a friend that is not my family per month. 1 per month sounds low. Here are the reasons why I think it's a good goal for me. Number 1, I love hanging out with my family, and I could easily just hang out with my family and no one else. Number 2, I'm in a new town, a new state. I don't really know many people. My primary contacts are through church, and even then, I don't really have those deep relationships yet because I'm brand new here. So by pushing myself to get a little bit outside of my comfort zone and hang out with 1 person per month, I think that that would be good for me. And like I said, hopefully it exceeds that, but it might not, and that's okay. The point is that I want to try. I want to resist that impulse to kind of isolate within my family and go out and make those relationships, because long term that's going to be a lot better for my life. And the other thing is I have the kids, right? So they're either going to have to come with me or I'm going to have to figure out babysitting and all of that. And it's just challenging, but worth it. My financial goal is to pay off my medical debt. So I have a ridiculous amount of medical debt. I need to look up the exact dollar amount, and maybe I'll report on this in January at the end of the month, which I know it's midway through January when I'm posting this. Okay, I've gotten behind on things, clearly. But I'm going to post a January update still, because I've been working on these things since January 1st. So I have somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 of medical debt from both my kids and myself. So when my son was born, it was a successful home birth, but then he had to go to the NICU. If anyone's interested in hearing my birth story, I will share it. If not, that's fine. Just comment below. He had to go stay a week at the NICU. And right before that, literally the week before my son was born, my daughter was in the hospital for a week. Okay, so that was back at, my son was born April 1st. So my daughter was in the hospital the last week of March. My son was in the hospital the first week of April. And then I moved to Iowa, and we didn't have insurance here for a couple of months. And of course, both kids got sick in that time, and ear infections and everything right as we're moving and don't have insurance. Then my daughter had to spend another few days in the hospital once we were here. But anyways, all that to say, I have racked up some serious medical debt. So, my plan for this, I've already called all of them. I'm trying to get on payment plans. I'm trying to see what kind of financial assistance is available. I'm trying to see if my new insurance will retroactively cover some of that. But my goal for 2024, financial goal, is to get out of medical debt, have all of it paid off. My YouTube goal. I have really neglected this channel, but I feel good when I post. I enjoy it. There are a few of you out there who actually watch it. That's cool. Now I may have some more people watching, as I've got friends back in Texas that, we don't get to talk as regularly. So I have even more interest in doing this now. And I like it. I've learned through this experience that I really need to have a hobby that is just for me, you know, something that I can do outside of my kids, outside of work that I enjoy, and that's what YouTube is for me. My goal for 2024 is to post 20 shorts per month. So that's very doable. That's not even one a day. I can definitely do that. And 3 long form videos per month. My other 2 goals that don't really fit into the plan, which I guess the YouTube one doesn't either, but my teacher pay teacher goal is to put out 1 new product every month. So I also have a teacher pay teacher store, and it's kind of like a little side thing. I really just put up things that I've already used for myself on there. But now that I'm not in children's ministry, I haven't been creating resources as much as I used to, and so I would like to create a resource 1 per month, which I feel like is very doable. And lastly, which I've already done a short about this actually, is I want to spend 1,000 hours outside. When I was finishing up editing this video, I realized that like my camera just cut off in the middle of me speaking. So what I was saying is that one of my goals is to have 1,000 hours outside, and I will be filming progress updates on this separately from the rest of my goals. And the reason I feel like it doesn't really fit in with fitness is because I may not be like working out outside. I might just be bringing my computer out there and doing part of my work day outside since I work from home primarily, or, you know, whatever. I feel like it just kind of was a separate thing. I guess it could kind of go under family, but the kids may not be with me every single time I'm outside. So like, I'm not totally sure how to count it. So it's just its own thing and it will have its own videos. But 1,000 hours outside for the year translates to roughly 3 hours a day. So if we're looking at it from a daily perspective, that's what it would look like. But obviously it'll be less in the winter, more in the summer. And I'll just see how it's going with that. And I will update you in separate videos. But I'll go ahead and put them in this 2024 goals playlist since it is a goal. Those are my 2024 goals. So if you have any kind of tips on me reaching these goals, if you think any of them are maybe not attainable for me, or if you think they're definitely doable, I just want to know your thoughts in general, but especially if you have tips, because I am all ears. But comment that below. I'd also love to hear, what are your goals? Is anyone else plan your goals like this? And if not, why not? Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.